What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And if you're watching this is Kung Fu Panda, a second look, which means I'm close to giving you my review of Kung Fu Panda 4. So that's how that works out, is I'm trying to get through the franchise to get to 4. So we're working our way through the series. I'm working my way back to you, babe. This is sadly nowhere right now on any streaming platform with audio description. I could buy it digitally, but I didn't want to do that because it's not even available digitally on some platforms. So, with audio description, I put in my DVD Blu-ray. Apparently, I have the version that doesn't have audio description. So if this film does have audio description on a DVD out there, and it ain't all mine. I do have, interestingly enough, and I've noticed this before, there was another film where I had the option, and I did have director's commentary. And I noticed that when I have director's commentary, I don't tend to also have audio description. I wonder if they're like, well, we'll give them, this is like the same thing. It's not the same thing. I could have listened to the director's commentary for Kung Fu Panda. So maybe I have some sort of super special edition of Kung Fu Panda. That's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack thing. Anyway, yeah, no audio description, but I have director's commentary. So, but I've seen Poe do his thing a couple of times. I like the first film the most out of the franchise. The second one's fine. You'll find out. Third one, and I don't know about the fourth one yet because I haven't seen it as of me watching this film. So, but the first one is good, clean, Dreamworks fun. It's one of those films where we sit down and we use that overused critic phrase, it's fun for the whole family. And then someone gets to say that and it gets slapped on the front of the DVD. Fun for the whole family. Because it really is. It's not grating enough for adults who are sitting through it to be like, oh, this is made for little kids. This is so obnoxious, But also, it's not aiming for anything serious. It's not going above. It keeps itself pretty silly and action-packed for little kids. So even little kids, I would think even 4 or 5-year-olds are able to watch Kung Fu Panda and enjoy the flashy color, stuff of the film. I don't think that I think this plays to everybody. And that's sort of my only little quibble with it. Quibble? Squibble. One of those words is real. And it's just that the film, for me, lacks the emotional weight that we're able to put into a lot of films. I don't think Kung Fu Panda has that. I think Kung Fu Panda doesn't want to have that and is perfectly fine not having that. And if at the end of this, if I give it an A- because of that, it's perfectly okay with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this is one of those films where it's like, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take the 2 points off, it's, that it's perfectly fine with what it is and how it is and what it's trying to say. It doesn't need to be a big message movie. It's not trying to emotionally manipulate you. It doesn't need you to have a moment where you sit there and cry and you're like, oh, I get it. It reminds me of my childhood and the things and how it all ties in together. No, it's basically just kind of silly fun. I mean, I guess you could try to find themes in this about accepting who you are, being confident in who you are, body positivity. We could try. I don't think kids think about those kind of things though. So those are things that adults find in it. Those are the things that adult critics sit down and are like, yes, Kung Fu Panda is about body positivity because Poe is unabashedly unashamed of who he is and his weight and his love of food. It's body positivity. That's what this film's about. Meanwhile, 5-year-old is like, he's doing karate. He's doing kung fu. It's fun. Oh my God, it's so silly. I mean, they're not worried about that. They're not thinking about, even a little chubby 5-year-old is not sitting there thinking like, this film makes me feel fine because Poe's chubby and I'm chubby. They're just like, he's a funny panda doing funny things. Uh, and that's why this movie works, and that's why Poe works, is because he isn't trying to do more than that. Shrek didn't do that the first time either. Shrek was, it didn't need to emotionally manipulate you in the way that some of like Pixar's movies were around that same time. And it got away with it because it was wickedly funny. And that's what adults found in it. It was the humor. It did have a little bit, uh, it did have some jokes that adults were able to laugh at and thought were funny, but it also had a plot that really appealed to children. But it wasn't up. It didn't make anybody start to cry for like the first 10 minutes. So there's definitely, and I'm not saying every film needs to be up either. So you can have a film like Kung Fu Panda work, but when I'm talking about DreamWorks films, I know that they can make like a How to Train Your Dragon, where there's adventure, it's fun, it's got humor, and it has emotional weight in it. And it's not too weighty. It's not like, oh my God, what just happened? And I didn't cry in How to Train Your Dragon, but I did feel the emotional weight of moments. And I felt like what's happening? I felt like that kind of, I never feel that with Kung Fu Panda. With Kung Fu Panda, I was never like, oh, they're going to kill off Poe. Oh, they're going to kill off those. So I was like, Tigress is going to die here. Nobody ever feels like they're in peril. Even the one character that does die basically just says, I'm dying. And then just dies. Just kind of like walks off into the mortal coils. Like, it's my time to go to the great beyond. It's like, okay, bye. Thanks for picking the Dragon Warrior. So it's just a lot of fun. It's got a great voice cast. Jack Black is fantastic as Poe. He really is. Like, even when I'm sitting here as a blind person listening to him, even without audio description, his voice performance is really great. There's some stuff early on where he's talking about, with his dad, playing, about his future. His dad's really excited because he's like, oh, I want you'll be able to take over the noodle cart. And you can kind of hear it in his voice. He's like, oh yeah, the noodles. Yeah, my dream was about noodles. And I feel like Jack Black just totally understood this character. It's just perfect casting. Even though there's nothing really kung fu about Jack Black, I think Jack Black inherently understood Poe and understood exactly what he needed to get Poe across. The Furious Five, with a mixture of Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, whatever, they're all fine. Like, they're all well cast, but they all feel like they're stunt casting big name voices. So it's less like each one of those people feels uniquely perfect for that role. Even Dustin Hoffman, like, we could have swapped Dustin Hoffman, but there's something about Jack Black for Poe that feels like that's the perfect casting. And I'm not really sure who else would have been able to do that. If this film had been released in the 90s, my obvious suggestion would have been Chris Farley, but I'd be interested in that performance. But other than that, I really can't think of anybody else who I'd like to hear try Poe. I did hear a little bit of Chris Farley's Shrek, and I didn't love it that much. I think Mike Myers does a better Shrek. I'm sorry, I love Chris Farley. But you can hear a little bit of it because he was originally Shrek. He just didn't get to finish completing the voiceover work before he died. So yeah, this is a fun film. I like Kung Fu Panda. I've seen it a couple times. It's not like a desert island film for me where, I feel like I need to grab this one before I leave to another island, or I need to make sure I watch this every year, anything like that. But it's pretty high up there for me. But there are Pixar movies too that are like my top tier Pixar movies. And then there are Pixar movies that are like right below that. Like Monsters, Inc. is not up with Toy Story 1 through 3, WALL-E up, Ratatouille, Inside Out. Those are kind of like my top Pixar movies. And then like the next level is like Monsters, Inc., The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. And that's kind of like Kung Fu Panda. It's like just like the next level for me. It would be below like How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek. Um, Probably Rise of the Guardians. I really adore that film. So then there'd be Kung Fu Panda in the second tier, which means that now I get down to the grading. And while I was sitting there as a blind person without audio description, I was like, man, I'm missing a lot. I'm missing the cartoonish humor. There are things that happen. Luckily, the sound design in this film is on point. So, and I've seen the film before and everything, like parts of it were coming back to me. But I have to think about like watching this film if I'd never seen it before without audio description. And I don't think the film works because you don't quite get how goofy everything is. It's a film that really benefits from having audio description, and instead of just having, especially if I was watching this with my kid, if I had a kid and I was gonna be like, oh, let's watch Kung Fu Panda, and then turned out it didn't have audio description, I'd be so disappointed, that my kid had to sit there and listen to, even if they wanted to, even if they were like, oh, it's okay. I feel like they wouldn't fully be getting it. They wouldn't fully get the humor / action style of the film. And this is why audio description has to be on everything. It has to travel. It can't just be on like some platforms. We can't be hunting for accessibility. It's just put it everywhere. Just put on everything. Put it on physical media. Put it on every streaming, wherever it streams. Put it everywhere. Theaters. Like, why are we hunting? Why is it... We shouldn't need websites to tell us where audio description is. We should just have a website that tells us this film has audio description. And when we say it has audio description, we mean it has audio description everywhere. Wherever it goes, it will have it. No matter where you get your digital copies, no matter where you watch your streaming films, no matter where you see this, it will have audio description. We promise. We need to live in that world. Because even with my Blu-ray DVD combo pack, I didn't have audio description. But I could sit there and listen to the director give his thoughts on Kung Fu Panda. So, my official grade for this as a blind person would be unwatchable. I would not want to have a kid watch this. Unwatchable is maybe a little bit of a strong word because the vocal performance by Jack Black is strong enough that maybe there's something there. I don't know. I'd have to watch this with a blind kid. I need to produce a kid who also reviews films with me now, so I can be like, "What did you think?" So that's what I need. Yeah, I'm trying to think about it from their perspective. As adults, we're able to make logical leaps and closing gaps, but this is not targeted for adults. And for kids, they don't always make those logical leaps because they don't have life experience. So I'm going to stick with unwatchable. And my grade, having seen this film before, and if somebody had walked up on the street and just asked me, oh, if you've seen Kung Fu Panda, what grade would you give it? I'm going to say an A-. And it's really just because it's not really that this film does anything wrong, because I think this film does everything that it intended to do. It's just that I've seen better movies, if that makes any sense. Sometimes a film is an A- just because I've seen better movies, just because it didn't reach that level. And from Dreamworks, I think they've made better movies that have balanced fun and emotional weight. And I think Kung Fu Panda is perfectly fine not needing to balance emotional weight and being just fun. And that's okay. I think it fully accepts that. I think if it got a whole bunch of A- from everybody, I don't think it would care. I think they'd be like, yep, thank you. We're good at that. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next Kung Fu Panda review. I don't know if 2 has audio. I will try it. I will try to find the audio description on my DVD Blu-ray, but we'll see.